Hey guys, KinSoul Studio here to talk a little bit about Alkemia.
I'm Matt.
I'm Adam.
I'm Jeff.
And Eric.
And yeah, we're going to be answering some questions today. So,
Bring it on.
What is Alkemia?
Oh, stumped right there.
yeah, right. Ooh, what is Alkemia?
Study.
I couldn't possibly tell you. So Alkemia is a resource management game with an alchemy theme, and you're traveling through this land as an alchemist who is trying to make the crest of creation, this fabled item that's theoretically going to save the world from the sort of dry spell they're having with their energy and everything kind of going on in the world. And yeah, first player to make that item wins, and or do they?
Or do if it's a tie.
It all depends. And Alkemia is also the name of the game, as you know, and it's also the name of the world that the game is set in. That does have a diverse history that we've been creating pretty much all this time and still adding to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a really rich source of characters and items. There's so many unique items in this game. It's just I'm impressed that we were able to not only manage them and get everything together, but just that they work so well and really do add something nice to the game, I think.
Because I think what's different in this game for Alkemia than some others, I know others are like this too, but I play a lot of games where like they have a lot of repeated powers. Like, and it works for that game, but you use it, and like there's just variations of getting free cards or getting free whatever pieces. And I think our items have a lot of like each one makes sense for what it does, and it's like I think that part is kind of what Alkemia is. It's actually like a lot of individualized, I don't know, kind of unique thought process all formed into different things, and kind of all works out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it does to me. Definitely.
So what's inspired the creation of the game?
Just us four guys sitting around. We love
Essentially.
gaming. We convene for gaming all the time. And about, over 3 years ago now.
April of 2000, whatever it was.
Yeah, we just
13.
2003 years ago.
Yeah, we all got together, and it was the morning after just like this night of multiple games.
Yeah.
And it kind of we're just sitting around in the fog of the morning, going, "Jeez, maybe we could do this."
And then there was dead silence in the room, and the next thing you know, we had our initial idea for Alkemia within about like an hour.
Yeah, more or less.
It was really quick, actually. How suddenly that all just happened. I don't know. It felt good. It made me feel like, maybe this is something we should be doing. We're so quick to come up with such a great idea.
And I think I like that it wasn't one of those things where we had the idea, talked about it, and then like kind of dropped it, and then revisited it a couple year later and decided to do it. It was like really that moment we talked about it, sat in silence for like a minute or two, laughed, kind of like, oh yeah, okay, that's funny, and then like, no, but really, why can't we other people do this? and then that was it. Like then we just started making it. Like there wasn't any break period. It just kind of went from that point. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was amazing how that happened.
So what was each of your roles in creating the game?
So we'll just go down the line, I guess. So my main roles were focusing on game mechanics and rule balancing, stuff like that, as well as designing the like card formats and working through all the formatting issues of most of it. I think that summarizes me pretty well.
Oh yes. I get the fun task of figuring out how to get the game out into the world once the project is a success, and getting it out, making sure it's going to places in the U.S. as well as the entire world. That comes later, but up until now, I've been playtester extraordinaire. I am official driver for all of our conventions. I have
Super
gotten you
important.
all there safely.
It's true, he has.
Every single time.
He has.
Every single time.
You're also swag master.
The
is the
swag
swag
master.
master.
We like the merch. We've
Yep.
gotten things like frisbees and pens and bags and maybe overdoing it for our first game, but we like to get out there with a little style and pizzazz, you know?
Definitely.
No, I've heard you have some experience with shipping things out in your in your life. Is that true?
Oh yeah, you know, my job, I ship 40 to 60 packages a day, so that's why we thought I would take the distribution portion of this job here.
Yes, definitely.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Yes. So I want to say, before I say a little bit more about what I do, I want to go out and say, we all have worked on a lot of stuff, so and that's complimenting everyone. That, you know, we may have had our roles, but you know, Matt has helped with a lot of other stuff, and so has Adam. For me, I'm like really, at least I think I'm good. I'm good with like naming things and concepts. So I remember pretty much a little bit after we got back from initially being like, oh, here's what the game should be about, and I just went out to a local place and I got a drink with a notebook, and I was just like conceptualizing items and reagents and names and flavor text and all that kind of stuff. Now some of them were changed and we all worked on them together over the couple of years, but mostly like concept creation and naming things and power creation, etc.
Yeah, so I started out writing the character bios for the alchemists that you're going to be playing in the game, which was really quite a fun process. I think my main inspiration was actually talking to our team here and figuring out what kind of character they would like to see in the game, and then I went from those ideas. I also did a lot of work on the background of Alkemia, which you will be able to read at some point. And after that, I kind of took on the job of working the prototype ordering process.
I'd also say quality control.
You've done a lot of formatting too.
A lot of formatting, but also quality control, like just being like, I read over everything again 500 times, and and this is seeming weird to me. We should test this, like that kind of stuff. It's just good.
something.
You need that, and there's always something.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Indeed.
Speaking of the Alkemia characters, who's your favorite?
I think we can all. Oh yeah, maybe we have some show and tell here.
Absolutely, yes.
Be blind to you, blind to you guys.
Should we pick one and then just hold them up?
Sure. You gotta say why. And
No, you
Oh, we're doing our actual favorites.
Pick your favorite.
yeah, your actual
I think I
favorite.
know what yours
My
is.
favorite.
This is your favorite person.
All right, you first.
My favorite is Firmea, the Bog Witch. She is the ether-aligned character of spirit and space-time, that kind of thing. And I've always had a odd obsession with witches and the supernatural and stuff like that. And so I really wanted a character like that in the game. And Eric came up with the idea of, oh, well, we have this. We're thinking about putting this kind of swamp in the world there. Like we could have her be this sort of recluse in the swamp who's misunderstood by everyone, and everyone thinks she's this bog witch when really she's not. Like she's just an alchemist who's trying to make her way and survive and stuff. And yeah, so mine would be Firmea.
For me, it's gotta be
Da-da-dun.
Amber's Galehart. Amber's Galehart is a tinkerer, an inventor. He is aligned with the air element, and I like him a lot. His during play, his aspiration item, the bounding boots, really can get you further in the foraging field, and it gives you a nice advantage. And plus, I just like the way he looks. He's handsome. He's got all these fun gadgets around him. He's my guy.
Very good. I realize these weren't a secret because the elements are
Well,
like that,
yeah.
but still okay. So my favorite is KinSoul. So one reason I like him is that this is kind of a sort of persona I make in a lot of other games that I play. So I was like, Kin has to be in the game somewhere. So, but he's a little bit different than how he usually is in the game. I like Kin for that reason. I also like his story. I won't say it, but I think it's a little darker. And a little uplifting too. He's actually kind of a what do I call him?
Robin Hood.
Like a Robin Hoodie type character. I mean, it's a little bit offshoot, but kind of like he likes to help people, and like he's kind of that kind of person. In game, I like him. He's a little bit of moving and stealing, and because his character is also nice, I try to steal him nicely, as you can see in one of our other videos if you check that out too.
A gentleman
thief.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. I like his character, and I always like fire too. So fire characters. Go ahead.
Right. And finally, my favorite is Rena Ingham, who is the living homunculus, which is almost like a crafted doll of sorts, and she is affiliated with the earth element. Now, Rena is the embodiment of the previous Grand Alchemist of Alkemia's niece. And after his niece passed away, he created this homunculus in spirit of her. And strangely enough, she actually took on a mind of her own and started growing almost like a real human. And because of this, the Grand Alchemist decided that this kind of alchemy was a bit too strong and sealed away the information needed to ever create that recipe ever again. And after the Grand Alchemist's passing, Rena is kind of figuring a way and backtracking those steps to figure out a way to bring more homunculus life into Alkemia.
And that's sort of something for all the characters. I didn't speak about it, but besides making the crest, they want to become the Grand Alchemist. They all have their own reasons for it too. So like that was kind of Rena's. Is she might try to reverse that, like the law that says, okay, this specific recipe that was made for her is now not outlawed anymore, so people can make it. The other thing I wanted to say about our characters that I think I really like, if I can just kind of talk for everyone, but I think hopefully you'll agree, is that I like that our characters, though they are, elementally based, I feel like are different than you might see in other games with elementally based characters. I love games like that where like, oh, there's a fire character and they're blowing up things with fireballs, and it's not really like that. I think there's more focus on their personality entwined with the element, and it's not just like, oh, there's a water chick and she's has full control of everything water-based. It's like it's really more interesting on their personalities and a little bit deeper than that, I think. So that's what I like.
Because mechanically they can all use all the elements, really. They have their little, affinities for sure, but all in all they can have equal use of all the resources. So yeah, it kind of comes more from the personality, like Jeff said. Definitely.
So if you had to choose your favorite item in the game, what would that be? And why?
So what tier item are we talking about?
Yeah, right.
We'll go with just two.
Item. You want to do
Just
items?
items, yeah.
Okay. Let me think. I don't need to go first. Whoever comes up with theirs first.
Eric.
Yeah, I think my favorite item is an item called a prism thread. And the prism thread is an item that allows you to make other items a bit easier by kind of using the power of the elements woven into a prism form to take care of some of those requirements that you may need on recipes that you're crafting for your turn.
Sorry, are you done?
Yeah.
So I think I would want my favorite to, or one of my favorites to be Scholar's Cloak, because that's kind of similar to what he said, where it makes making things easier, but I never seem to remember to get it. So I'd have to probably stick with it and say that most of the transportation type items, so like there's the Winged Rod or Traveler's Tincture, kind of like help, or the Shelled Mirror. Probably say the Shelled Mirror is my favorite. But because it allows you a little bit of manipulation over movement, which in the game, if you can save yourself movement, you can save yourself a lot of actions to do other things and to gather more cards, and so I think that's very helpful. Are you looking for the card?
Yes.
There's a lot of items. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
There's so many. I'm supposed to pick one. I'm not looking for the one that I know that I picked. I haven't picked one because there's too many.
I mean, saying all the items is an option.
I'm going to now read all 122 items.
Well, there's doubles of them. So it's not.
This sounds familiar.
You're reading a lot of repeat cards.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm trying to think when you play. I'm trying to think what you often buy a lot of.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place when I play.
You should see this guy going shopping. It's the same. Or to a restaurant.
Oh boy.
Yes. I mean, I like Amber's the character. I love him, and he's very airy and flighty. I do like the Traveler's Tincture. That goes well with him because you can quick travel to the city tile. So it's like you're on one side of the board, boom, now you're back at the city tile. You're going to have access to other things. And that's it right there. Because I pulled mine out because I had to search through the deck.
I'm in a similar boat. It's really hard to pick a favorite. They all are the art on them is so great. The effects are really cool, especially with like in the right moment. It's like, oh, it feels so good to do this. I think probably one of my favorites at least is the Curious Fragment. It's got the power to allow you to use powers from across the field no matter where you are. Normally it's very location based and you have to stand on a particular tile in order to use these special powers. but the Curious Fragment lets you break that rule and use the special tiles no matter where you are, which just adds a lot more complexity and strategy to the game, which is something I at least always look for, of just what else can I do kind of thing. So it opens up a lot of options. I like that.
I think our items, I don't know, I think like favorites can change over time too, because the game layout can change so much when you're playing, and because there is a little bit of I wouldn't say strictness, but there's a certain amount of cards that are available, and yes, you can shift through them, but you kind of have to play with what's available, which makes you have to play different strategies each time you play. Though you can try to get this similar strategy. That sometimes you pick up a card and you're like, this is I'm just going to kind of use this as fodder to forward the game ahead a little bit for myself, and then other times you have it and you're like, can pull off this amazing synergistic move with it, and you're like, actually this is awesome, and then all of a sudden you like it, and I don't know.
The multiple levels of excitement because you see the card pop up on the top of the deck, you're like, oh, I know I like that one. And then you acquire the card, excited again, now it's sitting there, and now you have all of the ingredients to make this thing, and then it's actually made, you're excited again. It just keeps going.
The excitement never ends.
It's a never-ending cycle.
And with someone who likes all the items, it's just
He's constantly oohing and ahhing. I mean, sheesh.
It doesn't take much to get me excited. So.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
No.
What do you think this is? I guess I'll start. So I'm a software developer and programmer by trade, and worked in that field for a long time, and that has helped me a lot with making this game. Besides, of course, having played many games over my life, and just having participated in a lot of different things like that. My programming background, I feel like, actually helped a lot with coming up with the initial rules and doing all that. That's sort of why I ended up becoming like the main rule guy for a while. It was just, programming is so sequential and is so about the flow of everything and how it all is balanced and connected and is always working and flowing and moving. And that's sort of how I approached this when we were initially putting it together. It was just, your hands are emptying, your hands are filling, the field is forming, the field is not. Your cards are always sort of shifting in different ways and trying to advance the game ever forward. Like it was a really neat thing for me actually to see how similar that process could be to something like programming. I never really thought of the two things together like that. And I go on tangents. That's a thing I do as well. But otherwise, I like to play a lot of games, and a huge anime nut, and all-around geek, I suppose. I don't know what to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
By day, I sell used automotive parts. I work at a salvage yard, and that's where my shipping expertise comes into play, where we are shipping many parts every single day. I talk to people on the phone, so a lot of customer service involved, and quality control, checking things before they leave. I stay really busy. And so to have a wonderful game to play and relax to is just fantastic. And some of the things I like to do, I really like the outdoors, so you'll find me out biking along the Erie Canal Trail. I'm always on there on my bike. I like just walking on trails in the woods, basically just trying to stay active. Winters can be tough in upstate New York, so I get all that I can done, everything done, spring and summer, fall, and then you kind of hunker down for the winter. And that's when winter is really like the hardcore gaming time, when you can sit down and just spend the day doing it.
So I am by degree and education a social worker, so I have a master's in social work. Obviously game maker by day and night too, depending on what has to be done. But I feel like that feeds a lot into my game making too. So like you were saying, in your job you do stuff and you're like, you're realizing, or this works and this doesn't because of programming. I think being in like the human services field, I'm often like yeah, but that power sounds too mean, or people are not going to like that because it's going to be upsetting to them. so they kind of,
You brought balance to the game in a whole other way.
Yeah, anyway. And then, I'm just like everyone else. I'm a big gamer. Love anime as well. I'm a big like wordplay and pun nerd. Like I like dad jokes and I like puns and wordplay. And so you'll probably see on the cards there's like an immense amount of alliteration, which partially wasn't on purpose, but kind of also on purpose, and hopefully that doesn't turn some people off the alliteration, but I love it. So
There's very good alliteration.
yeah, I think a good hefty dose of alliteration.
Traveler's Tincture, Evoker's Extract. What else we got?
But even like their powers, sometimes
power
their powers.
names.
Would be like,
Yeah.
no,
It's in
not
there.
all of them, but there's a good healthy dose of it.
I remember the first version of our items book that we had. It was all like alliteration and stuff, and then it got slimmed down along the way.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know. I didn't even notice it partially, and then we did, and we're like, oh, we should probably take some of it out, not all of it, but change it a little bit so it's not as like I think there was a lot of S alliterations,
There were a lot
so
of
we had to
S.
change stuff so it wasn't just drowning in like S alliterations. But so yeah, that's me, I guess.
All right. So I have been a student for pretty much forever, and I have had various positions and have done various things in the healthcare field. So not too much related to Alkemia in that regard, but I have been writing for a hobby for a long time, and I think that's definitely transferred over to the game making process as I worked on the character bios and the world bio a little bit.
What else do you
I
like to
think
do?
that's-
What else do you like to do?
What do you like to do?
For fun.
don't-
Yeah, Eric, what do you
You're-
like to do?
You're a person outside of Alkemia.
Yeah, well,
What?
there is the writing thing. I do enjoy cooking and various other
Yes, you do.
Food's
handicrafts,
amazing.
handicrafts of kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Video games
Well, yeah, I mean that goes without saying.
Well, yeah.
Who doesn't like video games?
and dungeon and DMing.
Oh yeah, Dungeons and Dragons.
Sorry, I'm telling all
Yeah.
your
Just
You can
gonna
be
tell
me if you
Eric's
want.
bio.
Just
Leading the witness.
and murder.
Murder.
Right?
Well, speaking of speaking for someone else, so if Alkemia was an actual person and they wanted to run for president, what would Alkemia's campaign slogan be?
Okay.
We're gonna defer to
Okay.
our campaign manager.
Alkemia, Destiny's recipe for a greater tomorrow. Does that work?
That
Voice.
yeah, it's
Sure.
and that look that you gave with it.
Oh yeah,
You gotta
the
have
delivery.
Very
Yes.
convincing.
was
If we can get
flawless.
the little gleam on the teeth.
I sit with that. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one. Okay.
And so if you were to take it, again, speaking as if Alkemia is a person,
Okay.
if you were to take Alkemia out on a date, where would you take it?
Someplace with a lot of recipes.
Yep.
A lot of options.
There's a lot of
There's a lot of
options.
options. Alkemia likes to make choices. Yeah.
It would have to be a buffet of some kind.
I mean, right? Because there's so many.
But a good buffet.
A good buffet.
High quality, of course. the
Like
highest.
a good buffet that's made of all natural ingredients, and you have to like gather them yourself, and then present them to
we have
like
a greenhouse next door.
exactly.
Go.
You have to like pick your own fruit or do whatever, and then like present it to the chef, and they make your food.
Essentially, we would have to create a restaurant
Yeah,
in which
we'd
to
have to-
bring
Yeah.
Alkemia.
More or less.
Yeah, I guess that's the decision. You'd have to make the restaurant and then bring Alkemia to it.
I think for me, there is a disgustingly huge mall not too far from where we live called Destiny USA.
Oh, yeah.
And since Alkemia is Destiny's recipe, and there
I mean-
are, insurmountable choices there, I think that would be the perfect option for Alkemia.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Yep. Good answer.
Sure.
Why don't you guys give us a random fun fact
About Alkemia? What about us?
in general?
Everything, I guess.
Yeah, about you. A fun fact about you
Okay.
that you haven't already told.
Oh,
It's so hard to choose. I don't know.
I sing, so I'm part of a chorus in
Mhm.
in Ithaca, and have been singing a lot since like high school. So that's me.
I've baked a frozen pizza in the oven with the cardboard underneath still attached twice.
I forgot about that.
It smells. Dangers of fire.
Okay. Yeah. How do I follow that?
I mean, speaking of cooking, and maybe I'll ride the cooking train too. I was recently talking to my parents a little while ago, and apparently the very first thing that I ever made for them, this is a great recipe. You might want to get a pen and pencil and write this down. But what I did is I took Oreo cookies and I took the cookie parts off, and I threw away the middle because who needs that? Who needs the middle?
Nobody likes the middle.
Who needs the middle part? And I replaced it with tuna salad.
Oh.
And didn't you make them eat it?
Oh yeah, they had to,
They had
or else it would have been a cry fest all night. So.
Oh, delicious.
But your parents are troopers then for that. That's for
Luckily,
sure.
your cooking has excelled greatly beyond that.
So you still get stuck with tuna sometimes.
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 You guys are all funny. Mine was like a serious thing.
I say
I took it in a different direction. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
say I'm always so bad at coming up with random funny things. Yeah, no, I get involved with a lot of theater stuff a lot. I volunteered at local theater that's been around for a long time and just help out at all the shows and
Stanley
stuff.
Theater in Utica.
And I help out at that a lot and just I've been getting more and more into the theater community of the area and stuff and trying to get back into that a little bit because I've always had a secret sort of deep down like I want to be on stage kind of
Well, it's not a secret
thing.
anymore.
Not anymore, but yeah. So, fun fact.
Yes.
Yeah, fun fact.
Fun fact.
All right, final question.
Mm-hmm.
And you can all go with one answer to this or each. It's up to you. Favorite con story involving Alkemia?
I think we were just talking about this a little while ago.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one that you mentioned was really good.
So, was it TempleCon?
TempleCon.
So at TempleCon, we had 2 play tests going, and there's a group of guys who played. At the time, I don't know if we knew or not, and I won't mention what they had said they worked on because I don't remember, so I don't want to mess it up. But after the game had been played, they had a really good time. They said they had helped make other games. Again, and I'm not going to mention them because I don't remember exactly what they were. And we're like, okay, great, you guys had fun, great, thanks for playing. And then 6 hours later, we found them in the restaurant in the hotel for the convention. They didn't even see us coming, but we were behind them, and they were still talking about Alkemia and how great it was and how much fun they had playing it. And we were just like, these people are still talking about our game 6 hours later randomly by themselves. It was, I don't know, it was kind of a cool experience.
good feeling.
It was a huge moment for us, I think, because
Yeah.
that was the first time that we ever kind of, I think, felt like our game might really be something to
Yeah.
other people. Up until then, it was very early stage stuff, and we were just getting into everything. But we're like, wow, other people actually really like this. This might work.
Before, I mean, people probably did like it before too, obviously, but
But right, that's
they would talk
another-
about it and say they had fun, and then maybe never hear from them again or something. And these people still stay in contact with us, and
Yeah, we still talk about
we still talk to them. The one guy says we handed out prints of their characters after the game was done, just as a little giveaway. And they were like, yeah, they're gonna hang them up in this new office they're getting. And we're like, geez, they got really, touched by Alkemia, I guess, which was pretty cool. So
And that was several versions ago.
That was several versions
It
ago.
has only gotten better
It's
since
only-
then, guys.
Yeah.
So
if you're watching this, it's way. We think it's way better.
yeah,
So
that was definitely one of the best. I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
with Alkemia.
I think this is a funny one. That was a good one. I think that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Done.
Good.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Thanks for listening to us, spout off about Alkemia and so much more.
Everything.
We appreciate it, and see you soon.
Thank you.